Back, and thank you very much for staying with us. Small businesses that have been struggling with finance will receive a shot in the arm. This after 100 million rand has been issued for suppliers of beverages company in South Africa. The funding will be for a period of over 5 years to support their growth and development. The Coca-Cola SME Supplier Fund is aimed at supporting the growth and sustainability of black suppliers. To tell us more about this fund is Busi Thusi, who is the Procurement Transformation Manager from Coca-Cola Beverages of South Africa. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you, Colin, for having me.
Right, let's talk about funding in general for SMMEs. It has been widely highlighted that they struggle to get funding from commercial banks and the likes. So why are you doing it?
So, Colin, the reason why we're doing this is, as Coca-Cola Beverages, we went on a transformation journey last year where we committed to transform 3.9 billion of preferential procurement spend to black-owned businesses, meaning people with 51% and above black ownership. So one of the main issues that they had faced is access to funding. So then we as a company decided that we need to launch a 100 million fund, which is 20 million over a period of 5 years to try and assist them to be able to meet our needs as a business.
So banks have been having a problem regarding these companies not having collateral, and secondly, the issue of financing them has been also, or the lack or thereof, has been because of the risk factors associated with them not having a guarantee that they will be able to pay back. How sure are you that with this funding there's going to be reliability and sustainability in as far as these businesses are concerned?
So, Colin, the fund is meant for people who are suppliers, current suppliers of Coca-Cola Beverages. So from a surety point of view, I guess the company's got surety because we are giving these people contracts, most of them 3-year contracts. So paying back is not an issue at all. But what we find is the areas that we're focusing on mainly is manufacturing, engineering and agriculture, which is basically our raw materials. You find that it's very capital intensive and they don't have the capital to basically finance that, so hence we're offering this. But I mean, obviously the fact that it's not just funding, we're actually also giving them access to market because we are actually giving them contracts within the company. So
how will this fund work? Is it going to be in staggers or is it lump sums of amounts to them allocated evenly?
So the fund works in 2 ways. So there is capital fund, which is anything from 1 million to 5 million. So to basically help them either acquire equipment or if it's factories that they need to expand for them to meet our needs. And the second portion is a short-term funding, which is basically anything between 250,000 and 1 million. And this is at the back of a purchase order. So if we give somebody a purchase order and they don't have capital for them for short-term funding, so we assist them with a loan for that.
So has there been any kind of due diligence that was done, especially with the risks that are involved in funding small businesses?
Yes, we've done a lot of due diligence, but we feel that, as South Africans, we need to take risks in order to improve the state for small businesses. And hence, as a business, we took this bold step. But obviously, there's a vigorous due diligence process that needs to be followed. And I mean, we've got experienced fund managers that are helping us in the process with that.
So what's your selection criteria and where do you choose those people from?
So like I said, the people need to be suppliers of ours. They need to have a black ownership of 51% and above. And I mean, they can be anything from EMEs to QSEs to generics. We're not selective about that. But it's important that the funding is aimed to help them to service us better as a company.
So is it like anybody who has a specialty in supplying a beverages related industry?
So it's not only beverages related. So it can be raw materials that we use in manufacturing. So I mean, we're very big on sugar, so it could be black sugar farmers, it could be grapes, apples, it could be in engineering, so we've got production lines that need to be maintained, so it could be somebody within those fields. And It could be in logistics. I mean, we've got a very huge fleet of logistics, so anything that's related to our value chain. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Is there a scenario sketch that you can give us in terms of the success rate before this fund was made available? How were things going?
So before the fund was made available, so initially we started with only 10% of our procurement spend with Black-owned businesses. So since we launched the initiative last year, that increased to 21%. But I mean, as a company, we want to increase our spend with Black businesses to 40%. So for us to do that, we need to provide funding because we've got supply development programs. And during those programs, we actually identified that, people don't really need that much of training. They need funding to help them to upscale. So hence the launch of the fund.
All right. Thank you very much for making time to speak to us about this.
All right.
All right. We are speaking here to Busi Thusi, who is Procurement Transformation Manager from the Coca-Cola Beverages of South Africa. In other news,